to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. I'm Beth Cooper.
And I am Stacey Earlywine, and we are glad that you joined us for our show today.
Absolutely. We have a great time here on By the Way, and we have a great show planned today talking about the schools of Clay County.
And boy, there were a bunch.
A lot of
It's
schools.
like every corner had a school. Schools and churches, but mainly the schools were the churches. So
yeah, they're everywhere.
Yeah,
so,
very interesting stuff we came up with for this episode. Yeah.
It's going to be good. So
It is a good one. So, I'm just excited to be here. Spring has sprung outside, but it's still a little chilly. I'm not sure what happened.
I got my convertible out of storage this week.
Ooh, you did?
I did, yes.
Did you take her around town?
I did a short little jaunt, but she needs washed up from being stored all winter.
So you're going to hold on to it, huh?
Well, I go back and forth. Every few months, I'm going to sell it. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to sell it. But I've had it for, 12 years.
If you sell it, you will be mad.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't sell it. I have a little convertible that I bought myself when I turned 40. I bought myself this little Mitsubishi Spider Eclipse, and I drove it for like 5 years while I was paying for it. And then last year or the year before, I had it repainted, and new tires and stuff.
It's beautiful.
It's pretty cool. I have told my children, I said, I don't care when I die, you could sell everything I've got, but that convertible, somebody's got to keep it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because cars, I think back to my high school car, and I've just kicked myself in the rear for not keep. Why? I wish I had my Buick Regal back, and we had bought Connor a Jeep. I'd kill to have that Jeep back.
Oh yeah,
a little Jeep.
I had a cool car in high school too.
What'd you have?
I had a Mercury Capri convertible.
Wow.
Yeah, it was little bitty, kind of like a Mazda Miata. I think they're manufactured actually by the same factory, but. A Mercury Capri. It was white, had a black top. It was super cute. My very first car, I only had it for like a few months, and it was a blue Chevy Cavalier.
Oh yeah.
But then the Cavalier died, and I got the convertible. But the story about the convertible is that I got rid of it in a couple of years after high school, and I traded it for a car that I absolutely hated, and I always regretted getting rid of that convertible.
See?
And then one year before we had kids. Jason surprised me. My birthday is right next to Valentine's Day, and he surprised me with an identical car to my Mercury Capri. He found one and bought it for me.
Well, where is it now?
Well,
I sold it.
I did. No,
Beth Cooper.
I kept it for years, and it was a really good car. I loved that car. But the problem is that because it was getting so old, that it was hard. Like if anything broke on it, it was hard to find the part.
Right.
But also, by this time, I had 2 children. And although that car had a back seat, it was, I swear, this big.
Oh, yeah.
And Malia and her little tiny self could fit back there, but I could not fit an actual big car seat in there next to her. So I then traded it. Oh, I sold it, actually. I sold that one. And then I bought the Mustang convertible that I have now because I could actually fit 2 kids in that back seat.
Right. Well, my first car was a Buick Regal Limited Edition. It was a 2-toned burgundy maroon. The inside was maroon crushed velvet seats.
Oh.
I loved that car, and I do not know why it's gone. I would love to have that car back. It was big, heavy. It was when you shut the door, it was just like, it was a spectacular
those
car.
Were nice.
I miss that car. So I'm telling you right now, do not sell your convertible.
I know.
They're fine. Maybe you only get them out every once in a while. There's nothing better than I like to get my convertible out on the first warm day, and I like to head down 161.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about that road, but you'll see me zip. You'll see an orange.
Well, I'll tell you, the reason I think about selling it sometimes is because I still have to pay insurance and all that on it, and I don't drive it that much. So I've had it for 12 years. I've put 5,000 miles on it in 12 years. So Jason's always questioning, are you sure you want to keep it? I mean, you never drive it. I'm like, I toot around town in it in the summer. That's all I want it for.
Yeah, Jim is like, you want to keep your convertible? It's like, don't touch my convertible. Keep paying that insurance, buddy, but don't you touch my convertible.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
I love that thing.
So
okay.
We're getting down to business now.
Okay,
so
sorry.
At the beginning of every show, we talk about an old ad from the past.
Yes.
And today we have a Better Homes and Gardens magazine.
Yep.
Here from
1952.
Okay.
Let's see if I can get my fingers out of the way. There we go.
Hard to focus on that. There we go.
There it is.
Okay. So that is a beautiful cover with 4 different photos.
It is 4 different,
4 different homes.
You know what's fun about this is the ads are, of course, are fantastic, but the stories that are in here. I mean, because like these magazines, it's like almost, oh gosh, what's those books called? Whenever you have like 1,000 different short stories in them, I don't know. That's about all that can hold my attention anyway.
Oh, like a Reader's Digest.
Yeah,
or something?
and that's what these are. There's a ton of different stories in them, which I love.
Uh-huh.
But anyway, so this is a pretty cool magazine. We got the looks of 4 different living room settings. My favorite is this one with the gold and the blue. I love everything about it, even though yellow is my favorite color. That's I really like that right there.
Like that
This
one
one's up here too because I like orange. Orange and yellow are my favorite color. What's your favorite color? You're purple, right?
Purple and red.
Purple and red. Okay, people.
Look at these two.
Oh my gosh, I just realized that I have a small dresser that looks exactly like that, the off-white with the gold.
Everybody did. Anybody
Love
that was
it.
alive and was a female in 1970 to
Exactly.
Well, this was earlier than that, though. This was the
50s,
so,
yeah. Look at this, guys. They are in 2 twin beds.
Yes. It would have been scandalous to show them in one bed.
Can you imagine?
No.
Look at her perfect hair. This is advertising the blankets, which look very familiar. I'm sure we've all had those in our house.
We have.
Yeah, this is North Star, shiny name in blankets, solid comfort for 2. Day's happy ending, a restful night under your deep, piled, warm, but weightless North Star. There's everlasting sleeping satisfaction in the pure wool comfort of a North Star, because North Star blankets take your beds for a long, long time. Isn't that great? Look at him. He's like,
hey, baby.
Exactly. She's like, I gotta brush excuse me, dear, I have to brush my hair like 500 strokes right here, and then 500 strokes over there. It's just fantastic.
And he's like totally enthralled. And
he is.
Yes.
Yeah.
You look great, honey. You look beautiful.
You look beautiful.
Your makeup's perfect. Now let's go to bed.
Exactly. Get in your. But the twin beds is just. Yeah, because okay, so like, do you remember who was
Ozzie and Harriet?
Do you remember? Okay, right. So I didn't like on I Love Lucy. Lucy and Ricky didn't. They had twin beds too. Who was the first? Okay, this is.
I know. The first. I'm pretty sure I know.
Okay.
Someone out there in
but
viewership may correct me.
Yeah.
But no, we're talking about the first couple to ever be in the same bed. And
yeah.
I think it was the Brady Bunch. I think.
Oh, you think it was that late?
Yes, I do.
Huh.
I don't know why I think that. Carol and
what?
Bob? No, that was
that's Bob York, whatever his name. No, that's Bewitched. Oh shoot, Carol. Well, can you believe we do not know what Mr. Brady's name is?
Mike
Brady. Whew, boy, that is a weight lifted. I almost lost we almost had to shut the program down today.
Wait a minute. Mike Brady. Oh man.
Okay, so you think it's the Brady Bunch, huh?
I think it is. I don't know. Someone's already Googling it, I'm sure.
Well, I'm trying to think of Leave It to Beaver. Did they ever even show Ward and his wife June in the?
I don't think so. Now there were scenes that were in Beaver and Wally's bedroom, but I don't remember.
That's true. They had bunk beds.
No, I don't think so.
Did they not have bunk beds?
I think they had 2 twin beds like that was in that picture.
Oh, how funny! I don't know. For some reason, I just think the Beaver was on the top bunk, and Wally was standing there. That mean, who was the mean neighbor?
Eddie Haskell.
Eddie Haskell was there, picking on the.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't think it was bunk beds with them.
Okay. So for the viewers out there, if we are wrong, if Beth is wrong on if it's the Brady Bunch, I think it's sooner than the Brady Bunch, but we'll because the Brady Bunch didn't come around until the 70s.
Yeah, I know, but
I think it's sooner. I'm almost.
Who do you think?
You know what? It's kind of escaped. So I think I honestly don't know. I can't think of the morning. But I almost feel like toward the end of Lucy and Ricky, I also think toward the end of when they were done, they were sleeping in the same bed.
Oh.
I feel like they
might have been the ones that
I think
see them doing that,
I think they were the first one. Desolate. Yeah, I think that they were the first ones to show in the bedroom in separate beds. But I also think that Lucy and Ricky were the first ones in the same bed. My sister Diane Hemphill will know this. So Diane, send me a text message. I know she'll know it. She's the queen of trivia.
Okay.
Yeah, so she'll know. But anyway, now that we've chased that rabbit all over town.
So it wasn't Lucy and Ricky, was it? Lucy and Desi?
No, Desi was Lucy and Ricky. Desi was his name.
Oh, right.
Yeah, Desi Arnaz. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Which I started binge watching all that stuff during COVID. I started binge watching. I watched so much.
It's been a hot minute since I've watched that one.
Oh yeah, it's a good. And then I started on Leave It to Beaver. I go back and forth on the Brady Bunch.
Yeah.
Now I'm into Blue Bloods.
Oh, okay.
I love Blue Bloods. It's pretty good. So yeah, but anyway, so our episode today is old schoolhouses, schools in the past.
Yeah. You want to hear about the very first school?
You know what? I'm going to let you do that. Let's talk about the first school.
Okay, the very first school, and this was in, I guess, Clay County is what the article led me to believe. First school was built of round logs with puncheon floors.
Puncheon floors.
And seats, and was built on what was later the R.A. Hewen Farm, north of the West Payment and east of the West Y. I don't know what the West Payment is.
Where? Yeah.
And east of the West Y.
I knew it was out in that area by the West Y.
Okay. But the first, but even though we call that area Flora now, back then it wasn't considered Flora because it wasn't in city limits. So then it goes on to say the first one built in Flora was in 1855. And it was a small frame school built on Hall's residence at the corner of West 3rd and North Elm. Okay, so that would be just straight north of the Dairy Queen, 3 blocks. And there's, it's kind of like where the old poultry house building
I
is,
think it would probably be right there.
That's state, right?
No, that's Elm.
Okay.
That's Elm Street that goes north of the Dairy Queen.
Okay, yeah.
Right there between Stanford Marketing and the old gas station. Yeah, that's. I'm pretty sure that's Elm
right
Street.
Through there. Okay. Then it says later on a 4-room brick school was built on the northeast corner of East 3rd and North Mill. So that's on kind of the east side of town, past north of the American Legion building, up to 3rd Street, there on the corner. So, and then in 1875, a large school on East North Avenue was built. This was the original McKendree School, which I actually think I have a picture of.
Yeah.
Real quick.
Yeah.
So that.
Come on.
Yeah.
We are going to leave this picture up even through our commercial break here because that picture. And where is this located at?
That would have been right where McKendree School. This is where Christ Church is at
yeah.
today.
So that's why is that building gone?
Well.
Oh, that is glorious. Absolutely glorious.
That was in the early 1900s, so like it'd probably been built for 20 or 30 years at that time.
Wow.
But, the high school was on the 3rd floor. The
younger
kids were on the 1st and 2nd floor.
Well, Beth, we need to take a quick break and then we'll come back.
Okay.
I want to see that picture again when we come back.
We'll be back.
At your locally owned Napa Auto Parts stores in Flora and Louisville, you can count on experts to have the solutions to keep you running on the road or in the field. More than just your car, the Napa Auto Parts stores in Flora and Louisville carry a large inventory of Napa products for farms, heavy trucks, and just about everything that moves. Experienced associates understand your needs and are ready to help with the perfect part at a great value. That's Napa Know-How at your locally owned Napa Auto Parts stores in Flora and Louisville. Briscoe Surplus Sales on the northeast edge of Flora is your one-stop do-it-all shop. Looking for rugged boots and footwear from great brands like Lacrosse, Rocky, and Carolina? They're there. How about top-notch small engine parts and service? Briscoe Surplus Sales has it. Whether you're wiring your switches or switching your wiring, Briscoe Surplus Sales has the solution and the know-how to help you get the job done right the first time. Briscoe Surplus Sales, your one-stop do-it-all shop.
We like technology at Flora Savings Bank. Here's what you can accomplish in our mobile banking app in less than 30 seconds. See account balances in your transactions, set up an account alert, make a transfer between accounts, get an alert text message about your transfer, pay a bill, turn your debit card off and then back on. It all happens in the palm of your hand with our free My Bank to Go app. Search My Bank to Go in the App Store or Google Play and give mobile banking a try. Flora Savings Bank, member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Lumber, doors, paint, windows, electrical, plumbing, and much more. Oh yeah, give me all your guns too.
John Lucas.
What?
You better be dreaming about all the stuff we sell here at Zink Building Center.
Oh, I would. Zink Building Center in Louisville on Route 45. It's a cool place.
All right, there's our picture.
Yes.
The Flora Public School.
I know. Okay, so we're back.
That looks like a castle.
It did. It did. Let me pull it right back up.
Pull that picture back up.
Yes, so this was the...
It looks like, oh, can you imagine here the bells ring?
Yeah.
And that was never any type of church. That was actually built for the public school.
Yes.
Early
19... I think there was probably 4 chimneys, one on each corner. See that?
Yeah.
Do you think that's a chimney, or do you think it's just part of the architecture?
I think it's part of the architecture.
Oh, okay. So that more like a castle.
I think that is spectacular.
Yeah, I wish there was a better image of it. I did not.
That's not a bad one. That's not a bad image.
That was the best.
Wow, that is fantastic.
When that school was built, it had 50 pupils. H. Clay Brashear was one of the main teachers, and yeah, so that's the first school, and then the seminary was probably the third or fourth.
Yeah,
it kind of went through.
We'll touch on schools.
But at the same time, there were country schools popping up
everywhere. Yeah,
because every different settlement had their own school.
Absolutely, and I'm going to talk about one of those. That's the Golden School is what I want to talk about. Okay. So, in 1840, a small log house was built in the west part of Harder Township for school purposes. Okay, so that's to believe one of the first schools in the township. Okay. Caleb McDaniel was the teacher. 6 years later, a log schoolhouse was erected in Section 18. I don't know where a lot of these are at.
I wish I knew all my sections of the county.
I don't know all my sections of the county.
I think people realized what that meant, but...
In 1852, a frame building took the place of a log schoolhouse in Section 18, and it was said to be the first school heated by a stove in the township.
Oh, nice.
Up to this point, they were all heated by fireplaces. Which, I have a fireplace in my house, and if you're right in front of it, it's great, but a fireplace doesn't really...
It doesn't really put out a lot of heat.
Yeah. So, and once again, children are coming to the school. Did I send you a picture of the Golden School? It wasn't a very good picture, so I didn't send one.
Have one.
And so anyway, it's the first to have an actual stove in the school building. Okay. It was known as the Golden School, which was considered to be one of the best schools in the county when the Golden School was built.
Okay.
I love that.
Yeah.
The school was named for the Golden family. Edmund Golden settled in East Songer Township around 1830. When he died, he left a legacy of 2 fine sons, Thomas and Wesley Golden, both of whom had large families of sterling quality.
Oh, no.
I don't know exactly what that means. Contributing much to the development of the Golden area. Thomas Golden's wife, Elizabeth Meisenheimer, was also from a very distinguished family in the area who played a very important role in placing a strong foundation for those who would come later. She was the daughter of Mattias Meisenheimer, who settled in the Hinkley Hill area west of Flora, which... Hinkley Hill's got a rich history too.
Oh yeah, we can do an episode on that.
I've got some Rena Lentz's columns on that too, so it's great. Thomas Golden died in 1897, and his wife 1 year earlier. Both are buried at the Golden Cemetery. Where's the Golden Cemetery?
Oh, I know. If you turn on Palm Lane off of 45 between Flora and Louisville.
Okay, I'm there.
And you go west on Palm Lane. It eventually comes out to a T, and that T is Golden Cemetery.
Huh. So this Golden family,
I'm 90% sure that's
Golden. Where the Golden family's all. Mm-hmm. How neat is that? Mm-hmm. Then, so there were 2 more Golden School buildings erected. Okay, with the last one existing until 1970.
Cool.
The latest schoolhouse had been purchased by Bill Reddish in the 1960s and modified into a home. And around 1970, it was sold to Bob Bailey and later was taken down to be converted back to tillage for farm ground.
Oh.
So, we took that down.
Mm-hmm. Now it's just farm ground. That's a cool story.
It is It says, our children have evolved from sitting around a pot-bellied stove in a log house with no electricity or modern conveniences to the large, modern, air-conditioned classrooms of today. Boy, it is funny, because I'm telling you what, it seems like, oh my gosh, let's just real talk about some things here. I mean, you get a little flurry of snow and we're canceling school.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't cancel school, and these children didn't have
No,
buses.
you just walk
They
to
walked to
school in the
school.
snow.
They walked. I just think the generations were a lot tougher than what we
were.
ever even thought
Our
of.
kids are
My
tough.
goodness. I mean, I remember Beth going to school. We didn't have air conditioning in schools, and you couldn't wear shorts. We had to wear jeans to school because you just couldn't wear. I mean, it wasn't until I went to Lincoln School, and I'll talk about my school days here shortly. But Lincoln School was the only school in the area that had air conditionings in each room. So we actually had them at Lincoln School, but you couldn't wear that. My goodness, could you imagine? We get out of school early if it's too hot, and it doesn't make sense because they're letting them out at 2:00. There's so much I could say about that. But
Yeah, that's a whole.
that's a whole other thing. It's like keep them in school; they'll be fine.
They'll be fine.
Yeah, they'll be fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think that's pretty interesting history, the Golden School.
Yeah, I don't have a picture of Golden, but I have a really cool picture here. This is the Beatty School.
Whoa.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of information on the Beatty School, but let's just admire this little group of children here.
So here's what I got to say to you. There's no air conditioning. They're all in boots and jeans and dresses, and they have undershirts on. So the next time you want to whine about being, but even in the summertime, they would have wore those same clothes.
Oh, yeah. Look at them. They all have identical boots or shoes.
How
They all look the
fun
same.
is that picture?
And, yeah. And then
Who's my favorite? What's up with the little girl holding it? She's like, I'm standing by a boy, right in the front row.
Right. She's like,
And the young man with the houses or the hats on is cool. And I'm assuming, okay, so
I think that's the teacher in the center.
it's got to be because look how distinguished he
Right,
looks.
yes.
But who's the tall gentleman next to him in that?
He's the guy that flunked a few times. He,
He's 30 and still in school.
well, he's probably had to leave every year to go help Dad farm, and
Yes.
and so he only goes to school probably a certain amount of time each year.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So we got to think back of this is a one-room school.
Yeah.
So how do you teach in a one room? Honestly, because you've got that little boy in the front's probably what 7.
Yeah.
And then you've got the gentleman in the back that, left his wife at home and came to school.
You had a lot of lessons for each group, but also some of the lessons you learned together as a group, because I actually, when I homeschooled my kids, we did classical education, which would have been what model they were following in the one-room schoolhouse. And with classical, even you might, teach your 4 and 5 and 6-year-olds things that you would think now would only be for junior high or high school, like hard concepts, but kids' minds will wrap around it, and even though they might not understand certain facts, they can memorize really good at that age, so then they just keep studying it, and then by the time they're older, it's like all the pegs kind of fit together, and they're like, oh, now I know why I memorized this song about the periodic table when I was 7, because now I understand the periodic table, and I already have it all memorized.
How
so there was
interesting.
little tricks like that they used,
Yeah.
where they taught the whole class at once, but it might be a little hard for some, but at least they were, somehow
Interesting.
making little pegs in their brain, almost like a bulletin board, and as they age, they all fit together.
Wow, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah. So,
So let's see. Do you want
do you
me
got
to go? Well, I was shocked to find that there was a beautiful large building in Reinard.
yeah, I
the
don't have a
Reinard School
picture
building.
of that one, but
Yeah, it was a big. I don't. It's like I said, some of the. Yeah, I think you do have that picture because I remember seeing these little children. No, maybe I'm thinking of a different. We've got so many pictures of school
Yeah.
buildings, but
Yeah.
maybe we could. Maybe let's see if we can focus in on this.
okay.
Do you think maybe we can? Because look at this. Okay, so it's up here. So here's this building. That building was in Reinard.
Yeah.
Look at that big.
Yeah, that was a big.
That is a big, huge
schoolhouse.
building
Yes.
in Reinard. I had no idea. Well, I guess I should have known, but that's grand.
Mm-hmm.
And this school was around till 1959.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so.
Okay. Not
This-
that long ago, really.
No, exactly. So why is that building gone?
I do not.
Because you know it was made of brick structures. I'm just going to have to.
I do have a button that says Reinard. Let's see it. There
There it is. I knew we had that
I'm sorry,
picture.
I'm blind.
Yeah, look
Yeah.
at that, guys.
Yeah.
That is it had a full basement underneath it,
Uh-huh.
and it had two stories. It's very grand.
Okay, you're looking at the building. I'm looking at these kids. How cute is Elmer Baker? He looks like he might have been a handful.
Oh, I bet he was.
Yeah.
Oh, well, and what about, so we've got Regine Banhart, Jordan Cheney, Edith Corey, Joe Easton, Viola Miller, and Dean Thompson. I bet they were a rowdy bunch.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
How fun are they?
Yes.
But so in 1947, we can just leave that picture up, hon.
Okay.
There were only 24 students in 1947. And they actually sold advertisements so they could have a yearbook.
Oh, cool.
A yearbook picture. Apparently, the yearbook was very nice. It was a hardcover book. But yeah, it was a beautiful building, and they raised money for educational needs. So, you got this big, grand, beautiful building. This was the late 40s, but these children are raising money so they can have a yearbook and so that they can have, school supplies.
Yeah.
Which it's funny, we're still squandering for school supplies, it seems. With the money they collected, they purchased a new croquet set.
Oh, fun.
A baseball, an organ, and Christmas decorations, and some first aid supplies. So how fun is that?
Yes, good for them.
Croquet, I love croquet.
Yeah,
and
that would have made a fun PE class.
Yeah. It's one of my favorite things to play. I've got an old croquet set that sits in my sunroom, but we don't use it. But I loved it. My cousin Buffy and I, we played croquet all the time. It's one of my favorite things. The Reinhardt School saw its last classes in 1959, and was later torn down. I just can't comprehend it.
Buildings torn down. I guess they just couldn't afford them.
I can't comprehend it though.
Yeah, I don't know.
I can't but Reinhardt, yeah, and it doesn't have anything. It's got a list of everybody who'd been there, and but the thing about the Reinhardt School, but it's like I have no idea where it was set. I don't know when it was built. So yeah, that's a pretty interesting story.
Yes.
But yeah, you're right. I bet Elmer Baker. Of course, we're talking. These kids are there. It looks like the early 50s to me, so they're probably still around. They might be in their elderly, but yeah.
Yeah, they may be. Yeah, and I shouldn't be surprised that Reinhardt had such a beautiful school, because I think it was a pretty cool community back in the day. It had a lot.
Yeah, I drove through Reinhardt. I was coming home from Mount Vernon, and I drove through Reinhardt. And there's a beautiful Victorian structure that's still there, and I would like to dive into Reinhardt's Wayne County though, right?
Yes.
But the Reinhardt kids went to school at Clay County. All the kids that were in Reinhardt, they did it. But yeah, I'd like to do some. We need to dive into some Reinhardt issues because it's got a rich history. It still has the post office is still there. I knew some people from Reinhardt, so. But yeah, I definitely want to do Reinhardt because I love that school building. And those last names, Easton, Baker, Banhart, Cheney, Corey, Thompson, Miller, they're all names we recognize today.
Yep, they still have descendants here. If they have passed away, I bet they have family.
I bet they do. So if you are a descendant of Elmer Baker, we would love to hear stories about him because he's adorable. And his picture's like, I'm here. My teachers hate me. Here I go. Let's take a quick commercial break.
We'll be back.
If you're looking for a loan for your brand new home, call Clay County State Bank. If you want to transfer money so your future will look sunny, call Clay County State Bank. We got checking and savings and bill pay too.
An online banking, just ask our crew. For all your banking needs, we think you will agree.
Clay County State Bank is the place you need to be. Clay County State Bank.
It's the weekend and your symptoms are worsening. The morning of a big meeting and you have a bigger sore throat. Ever experienced that urgency after picking up your sick child and your community health center has already closed? You will be able to connect to a provider at crhpc.org. Even if you have never been to CRHPC, you are welcome to utilize our services. Feel better after scheduling a video visit with CRHPC.
Tomorrow. Some fear the uncertainty it brings. Some trust the promise it holds. At Grinnell Mutual, we are always looking forward to tomorrow, growing and innovating. So even if the plans you have for the future aren't the same as the plans that the future holds for you, you can be ready. Because we'll be ready, like we have been for over 100 years. Trust in that. Trust in tomorrow. Talk to your mutual agent today.
Your local agent is on the square. Louisville, Clay County Farmers Mutual Insurance.
Welcome back to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. Today we're talking about old schools in Clay County.
Lots of them.
Yes, lots of them.
Too many to even do for an hour show.
Oh gosh, they were everywhere.
They're
every
great.
little community had their own little one-room schoolhouse. So some of these I didn't find a lot of information on, but I have some really great pictures.
The pictures are awesome.
We're going to go through. This is Oak Mound School.
Wow.
This is 1887. So this
Look
is a
at
really
that.
early one. And Oak Mound, I don't know exactly where it was located. Actually, according to what I found, there was more than one school named Oak Mound. And
Right.
It must have been a really common phrase back then or something, because even like Oak Mound in other counties had Oak Mound schools.
Right.
Like, they were just everywhere. Oak Mound, Oak Mound. So
Yeah, Oak Mound. You always hear about Oak Mound churches, and that is fascinating.
Yep.
Look at that. Look at their outfits. Yeah, because this is what, 1887?
Yes.
And I see something at the bottom. It says something about January 1950.
It was presented to Aunt Rosie, from Aunt Rosie originally in January of 1950.
This picture.
Rephotographed and presented from Aunt Rose's original in January 1950.
Yeah, I'm looking at some of the names up there. You have a Cocklaser, Jones. I'm looking if there's any
Lots of
Smiths,
Lots of
Waymeyer,
Cocklasers.
Hale. I mean, some of those names are. Yeah, Smith. I see a lot of Smiths. I wonder how much. Wonder how many of them are. A lot more Cocklasers, more Cocklasers. Yeah, see, a lot of those names are repeated.
Yeah.
So I would imagine they're all siblings.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, because lots of Cocklasers, Smiths, Jones.
You got the younger kids in front, the older ones in
Yeah.
the back. I think I'm torn over who I think the teacher is. If
It's got to be the lady in the middle. They always put the
that, or
teacher.
it's the old guy on the far right.
True. Oh yeah, yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. I bet they were all related to each other. That picture is amazing.
Uh-huh.
Can you imagine? I would not, as much as I love the Victorian area, I would not want to live that. I mean, dress.
Yeah.
Woo-wee, they're bound up.
No deodorant.
Yeah.
Okay, this one.
Woo! Look at this,
This
audience.
is like Little House on the Prairie right here, and this is also Oak Mound School, and this one is 1891, 1892.
Look at those little kids.
So-
What's in front? Okay, what are they holding up over here? See the thing that looks, is that because it looks like a little boy's. Oh, is that the bell? Are they leaning on a bell?
Yes, that is what it is. Yeah, they're right out there with the school bell. So look how little these guys are.
They're
I almost
tiny.
wonder if Oak Mound had two different classes, and that was like the junior high school that we saw previously, because this is only within a few years later
Right.
that this picture was taken. And
Look how tall and slender that teacher is.
she was tiny.
Wow.
Poor thing. She was probably hungry.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, they
she
probably.
ate more calories.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, because those little girls in the front. I mean, and that little boy in the front next to the little fella by the bell. I mean, that little boy looks to me like he can't be but 5 years old.
Yeah, but some of these look tiny. Those little girls,
Uh-huh.
they probably don't weigh 40 or 50 pounds.
Yeah.
Look how little and cute they were, though.
I love that
Like
picture.
their braids and their dresses.
Yeah, and look how tall. I mean, I guess that would have been because like the teacher is incredibly tall, but look at the doorway going into the school.
Right. Well, she's standing on a porch. But
Right.
Still.
But that's a pretty
Yeah.
tall.
Yeah.
That's a pretty tall woman because that woman is very slender.
Okay. Here's
How
another
fun.
one from 1908.
Woo-wee.
So this is fast forward, another 10, 12 years here, and this is also Oak Mound School. So you can see they probably did have two classes because the youngers are back in the front. and
Right.
Then the older ones in the back.
Look at the boys' hats. Lots of different styles of hats in this
Yeah,
picture.
so you can tell it's the same doorway that they're standing by because it has that, what's that called, a transom above
Yeah,
it? with
above
that-
it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so if you go back to this picture, you see the doorway with the transom, and then
Yeah.
you go back to this one, and there it is.
There it
again
is
at the top
again.
center screen.
Just a different angle from
Just
it.
a different angle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's quite a few children.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
large. It was a large school.
Just look at the middle row, the little girl all the way to the end on the right, and that
I
little.
was looking at
Oh
her,
my
too.
gosh, isn't she spectacular?
I bet she's sitting by her big sister.
I bet she is too. But that's a lot of children in there.
Yeah.
Of course, you know what are we
Bigger
talking here? Families were large.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so then here's another one, Oak Mound. This is 1912. This is, again, just a few years after that. So I had a lot of pictures of Oak Mound, but not a lot of stories to tell you about it. But
Look at the little boys in the front that don't have shoes on.
I know. It must have been warmer there than
Yeah.
they're all barefoot.
The
Not
one-
all of them, but a lot of them.
The one little fella's like, nope, I'm keeping my boots on. But there's a little girl right behind the little chalkboard thing that says, what's that say? Oh, my eyes. It said, I can see Oak Mound, but I can't see it.
I don't know.
I don't know. Interesting.
Yeah. very cool pictures there. So
the girls' hairdos are a little bit changing.
Yeah. So here we're gonna switch to a different school. This one is Barnes School. This is my favorite picture, you guys, that we're showing today. This is Barnes School. This was located up by Horde. It was in Blair Township, and my favorite part are these girls peeking out the window. Apparently the boys were getting their picture taken, and the girls were like, we're going to photobomb.
Now, see?
So this is like the original photobombers right here. And I don't know, the one on the far left of your screen, like, who's barely peering over with this, like, evil stare. I love it.
Yeah, and I love the reflection of the tree in the background. That's kind of cool. Yeah. But yeah, that little girl is just like peeking over. That's I have a feeling she's ornery.
Yes.
See, now my favorite part about this is you got the little boy in the front row with his stomach on his belly with it like he's kind of gassy. And then you got the little boy to his right looking like, did you just do that? And then you got the little boy with his hand over on the middle with that on his over his nose. And then you got the other little boy looking like
a little candid. The one guy on the far left who's got his hand over his mouth, he's cracking up about
cracking up, and the other's like, Junior, was that you?
Even the teacher looks like he's kind of giggling.
But it looks like the little boy looks like he's got some belly-ish.
And it's funny about
maybe that's why all the girls stayed in school.
Well, maybe. So the one little girl, you can only see the top of her head because she's looking at the boys. She's not looking at the camera.
Oh yeah.
There's actually two of them. They're like staring at their brother or friend or something.
That picture. There's by their faces. That picture.
Yes.
Oh, and then the other little boy. He's like the one with his hand on his belly, like he's having trouble. The kid right next to him is like, ugh. Yeah. The other one's like, did you do that? The other ones are like, oh my God.
This is so funny. Okay.
That picture tells 1,000 stories, guys.
It does, yes.
That's
So
fantastic.
let's flip gears a little bit. Let's talk about Flora High School back in the day.
Oh my gosh, let's talk about Flora High School.
This is
the beloved building that burnt down.
This is the Harder Stanford Township High School building, which, HSTH. That was what they kind of went by. Is that on the building anywhere? Harder Stanford is.
I don't believe so, because this building we're looking at now, for you, for all of you that don't know, this was the original. This was Building B. Okay, this was the middle building where the new structure is at now. By new, I mean by 1980. But this was actually Building B, sitting in the middle of Locust Street. To its what we're viewing, our left, its right, is where the gymnasium was built later on, which was Building A. And then to the right of that, what we're seeing is where Building C would be built on. Okay. But that actual set there, where the courtyard's at now.
Oh, okay.
When I was in the 8th grade in 81, somebody, I don't think they ever found out, went into the school and set a fire on that second floor. And so that big, beautiful building, it didn't all go up, but it did enough damage that they could not save the structure. So actually, my freshman year, we actually still continued using that building. And we would just go around. I can walk in that and smell that and see the office. I feel like it probably could have been completely restored and we could have utilized that. But then, people step in and be like, oh, we get a grant from here, but we can't get a grant just to fix it and keep our beautiful building. Yeah. No, we have to get a gazillion-dollar grant so we can build a new school. Oh. But that building was spectacular. It had our commons area was down below. Then you had the 3 stories when you walk up in here. It was a beautiful building, but that's the original building from Flora High School. Then they built the gymnasium on.
Here's another picture of it around the same time.
Yeah.
The freshman class.
Yeah, and so that building, it actually set up really close to the, almost like where you see Building A, where it's set up as close to that, if not maybe a little bit closer up to there.
This is the freshman class of 1920. This is from the 1920 yearbook.
That's a fun picture.
Yeah. That's a lot of people, too. That's pretty good.
Well, you got to look at the ornate of that. That's all concrete up in the front, and it's a brick building.
Yeah.
So, and it's funny, though, because, I remember, my freshman year, we went to school there, and utilized that building. They opened up Washington School again. So those classes that would have been held in the area that was burnt, we opened up Washington School.
Oh. So
we went back and forth.
Okay.
If you had classes, you went over to Washington.
Okay.
And but we went to school. It was a year, and then I remember. So my high school years, I remember it being torn down. I think by my senior year, the brand new building, the new one was built. And they set it back off because actually where the new building's at now, like where your commons area is at the high school, was a parking lot.
Oh, no kidding.
All the parking was back there.
Oh, cool.
Because what surrounded it was all houses.
Okay. This
Yeah,
is
it's
another
pretty neat.
picture from the 1920 yearbook. They
Oh.
had an orchestra.
Look at this. Oh, I love this.
I know. I love the orchestra.
The chorus is an organization as old as school and has proven a great blah, blah, blah for
Yeah.
machine entertainment. Oh, various
They have their
occasions.
violins and their,
That is
I
wonderful.
think is that a bass that one girl has? I mean,
That,
bass?
oh, no, it's not the upright. It's not upright. It's the bigger. Oh, I can't think. Yeah, it's not a viola. It's little, but it's like the up. It's not as big as an upright bass. Why does everything escape you whenever you're trying
because I'm
to?
putting you on the spot.
You are. Yeah, that is beautiful, though.
Here's another picture from this yearbook that I thought was interesting. This is the Board of Education. It was only made up of 3 men, but one of them, J.C. Scudamore, we talked about him.
Yep.
When we covered the Scudamore building. And he was the guy that ran he's the one that started it, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember he had all those brothers. So Scudamores were very prominent. We actually have the street that's named after the Scudamores.
Same thing with the N.E. Prince. There was a Prince drugstore, I think.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. He was a businessman in town, too. I don't remember exactly. I'm not sure about John Brainerd at the bottom.
Brainerd's not actually, it's not coming to mind, but definitely the Scudamore, the Board of Education for Flora High School.
Yeah, so interesting pictures.
Yeah, it just says member. I mean, there were 3 members. I wonder if there was more for the board or not.
That was all that was listed. I would have thought that would be kind of rude to only show 3
True.
if there was more. Made me think there were only 3 members on the school board.
Well, I bet there was. I mean,
And I hope you liked their decisions because there
right.
wasn't enough there to.
I wonder who was the principal at that time.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting.
I'm not sure. So make sure I've went through.
Wait.
I think I've covered all my pictures. But
those pictures are great.
Yeah.
When we come back from commercial break, you got a short story
I have
on
a short
one.
story out of another school right
Then
after.
we'll talk about our school history.
Okay,
Oh
that'll be
yeah,
fun.
that'll be a good time.
We'll go to commercial. We'll be right back.
Do you bowl like this? That's great. Do you bowl like this? That's great too. That's because whether you're a pro or you just want to have a lot of fun, at Peggle's Silver Dollar Lanes, we have a lane for you. We have galaxy bowling, gaming for kids and adults, Joe's Pizza, a full bar, darts, pool, and fresh and clean bowling shoes. Boy, does that smell nice. So come on down to Peggle Silver Dollar Lanes in Effingham, where we have a lane for you.
My name is Robin Stanford. I own Stanford Marketing. It's a promotional products business along with an embroidery business. And we do custom hats, t-shirts, anything, you name it, we can make it. People like that we do stuff in-house and we can actually make things here and that we're not contracting to work out to other places. We never say no. We always try to find a way to do it. If anybody can do it, we can do it. We are hardworking women, that is for sure. Come to Stanford Marketing in Flora for all your custom and promotional needs.
The insurance specialists have options to tailor to your needs at CSI Insurance Brokers. Experienced insurance brokers at CSI are skilled with all types of insurance plans and policies and represent many companies, including Safeco Insurance. You'll benefit from their detailed expertise, unbeatable premiums, and commitment to customer service. CSI Insurance Brokers and Safeco Insurance Company, providing affordable rates on quality insurance since 1952.
For over 50 years, at your locally owned and operated Roll King Supply in Salem and Olney, we've helped you and your neighbors enjoy an easy country lifestyle. We carry the most thorough sporting goods department around with a huge variety of hunting and fishing gear, camping equipment, and a variety of firearms for any need. Our team is here to help you find whatever you need. Open every day, it's Roll King in Salem and Olney, your locally owned farm and home store.
Welcome back to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. Today we're talking about schools in Clay County.
Yes, we are.
So, the Rayburn School. I heard a very interesting story about it last night. It was kind of a fluke thing that we were even going to talk about this today because I ran into Erica Spicer at Walmart.
Okay.
And she asked me if we were going to do a show on schools because she
How interesting is that?
I know. And I'm like, well, by the way, we are in the morning.
By the way, we are.
And she lives in a one-room schoolhouse, a former one-room schoolhouse called the Rayburn School. I think she thought it probably closed around the 1950s, but the original sheds are still there, and then the building itself, the school building, has been converted into a home. And it is, if you go down Moores Mill Bridge Road, it's out there between Louisville and Sailor Springs. Some of you may know where that is, but it's out in the country, northern part of Clay County. And she said there's a lot of interesting things about it, but their walls were insulated with horsehair.
Oh, how fun.
Which wasn't really that unusual for
right,
the time.
Absolutely.
But she said all that is still there.
They left it?
Uh-huh.
Good.
Yeah. So she said that actually in her closet, it wasn't like, it was kind of open. It was in between beams that there would be horsehair that came through. She said eventually she had to have her husband go in there and like separate it because she was getting horsehair on her clothes.
How interesting is that?
He had to put something
so
in there.
that structure, does it still look like the schoolhouse? I mean, I'm not sure.
She said the bell too. The bell was there for years in the front yard.
And she kept it?
But no, she didn't. I'm not sure she ever had the bell, but it was there for a long time. And then it sold, and then it sat in the front yard of someone in Flora that lives kind of out by the old vet clinic on Old Route 50 through that area. And and I feel like I seen the bell in the front yard there, and I kind of wondered, was it the Estheimers? I don't remember who. Someone.
Gosh, I'm trying to right across from Lincoln School, like in that area.
All through there, between like Lincoln School, between that and Flora, somewhere along that. She said that's where the Rayburn Bell set for years, and she doesn't know.
I wonder if it's still there.
I don't know.
Ooh, that's for our listeners to let us know.
Mm-hmm. So that was from the Rayburn School.
You know, I wonder how many people have kept bells, because I know Bill Bailey, he has a beautiful bell. Didn't we bring that to the church and did it when I remember Bill bringing that, and but I think it's from an actual church somewhere.
Okay, I don't
it might be a school. I don't know. He's a great collector of. He loves his old things too, yes. But I do believe that it was heavy. I think he brought that. I cannot remember. I have to ask my daughter-in-law Paige. Paige will know.
I have one more picture to show too. This isn't the Rayburn School, but this isn't a great image. But this is Seminary School. So many of you know where Seminary School is now. It's now the Clay County Rehab. But before then, it was
another grand, beautiful building.
This is in 1912. Beautiful building. So Seminary School sat on the corner of Seminary Street and West 4th.
Yeah, isn't that wonderful?
Yep.
Yeah, and
so
why
pretty.
is it gone?
I don't know, but it's much prettier than the building that is there now.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah. Well, speaking of Seminary School, that's where I went to kindergarten.
Oh, no kidding.
Yep. We went to kindergarten there, and my principal was Mart Haycock.
Okay.
And Mart Haycock and my dad, Bill Hemphill, and Jack Thatcher, they were all best friends.
Oh, well,
went to high school together. Mom and Sandy and Bonnie were all great friends, went to school together. And I remember thinking, when you go to school when you go to school and you're thinking, oh, well, I see this guy at my house playing poker with my
Oh, you think he's going to be your friend?
Oh, yeah. He was No.
No special treatment for you.
No, absolutely not. It was, no, absolutely not. I got no good treatment at all from Mart. I was terrified of Mart Haycock. So I only went there for kindergarten. Okay. Of course, I'm a South Ender. I was raised on Locust Street from the time I was 2 years old. So then all the South Enders, we went to school at Washington.
Oh.
So Washington School, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grade. Okay. So then, for some reason, they came in and said that Washington School was condemned.
Oh.
Who knows? Condemned. So they bust all the South Enders. All the South End kids went to Lincoln.
Oh.
And I loved Lincoln School. And at the time, Lincoln was the country school. So Lincoln School, when I was there, was 1st grade all the way through 8th grade.
Oh, cool.
So they bust all of us South Enders out to Lincoln School. It was funny because Floyd Henson was the superintendent, I believe, of the schools at that time. And Floyd went to my dad. They were good friends, and he went to Dad and he said, "You know what? The South Enders are all going to be bussed out to Lincoln School, but I'm pretty sure you're going to want Stacey to go to McKendree." Okay, because McKendree School was like 1st grade through 8th grade at that time, and then from McKendree School, then she'll be able to go to the junior high, which at that time was 7th and 8th grade. Okay. My dad was like, "Floyd, are you kidding me? No, I want her to go to Lincoln School because they have air conditioning. The other schools don't have air conditioning, and they have cafeteria staff that cooked homemade food every day."
Oh yeah, I've always heard the food at Lincoln was amazing.
Oh, it was.
I heard that about Xenia School too, but like
yeah,
really
they did because
good
that Dorcas. What was Dorcas's last name?
Fellows?
Dorcas Fellows was one of the main cooks there at Lincoln School, and it was amazing. Well, and then who was the cook over at Xenia was Darren Hout's mother, Lois.
Okay, I didn't
Lois Hout. She was the cook at the Xenia School. So these ladies made, I mean, when we talk about food, they made homemade pizza. They made everything we had. They cooked for real. They got there early and they cooked all day long. And so then we went to Lincoln. But yeah, I guess Floyd was a little surprised when he was like, well, Diane and Linda went to McKendree and went to junior high, and he was like, "No, I want Stacey to go out to Lincoln." And that was the best decision my dad ever made.
Oh, well, good.
But it was kind of interesting. So then from like Lincoln School, we all graduate we all go to 8th grade there, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade there. South Enders, country kids accepted. It's wonderful. So then what was weird, that transition, we never had any affiliation with the junior high except for a home ec class.
Oh.
So they would bus us 8th graders over to that, but we didn't have any connection with the junior high kids. So then you had like your Lincoln kids, then the junior high kids all went to the same floor high school.
Yeah, and
it was kind of a
kids were like that too. They had their own little clique, their own little group, and a lot of those Xenia kids stayed tight.
They stood
all the way through.
That's how the Lincoln kids were.
Yeah.
That's how us Lincoln kids though. So then we all went to the high school together. But I've said this before, I graduated in the class of 1985, and it is the best class that's probably ever gone through that high school. We were all very close. It didn't take long for those barriers to fall down, and we were all great friends. The jocks were friends with the band nerds, and the band I mean, we did not have cliques, and we were a very, very close class. The class of 1985 is one of the best classes that I will put up against. And you know what's the other thing about, we all worked so well together at homecoming. You know, like how you have your freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior year, and they'd all go in there, and the floats would get. The class of 1985, we wanted our freshman year, our sophomore year, our junior year, and our senior year. We were the only class that all 4 years have ever won, got first place in the homecoming parade.
I bet you still hold the record for
we
that.
hold the record. There's no way. Yeah, we definitely do. Class of 1985, shout out. Woo-hoo. Come on, guys. Here we go. Yeah, I love my class. Yeah. Some people say, would you ever go back to high school? The answer is absolutely yes. That class was amazing.
Really?
We genuinely love each other. There for each other to this day. When we have our reunions, we have the biggest turnout. Always there for each other. We have a Facebook page. We truly do love each other. It's a great class. Loved it. So that's my school story, Beth. And where did you go to school?
So I went to school in Harrisburg for grade school because I grew up down there. Even though my family was from here originally, we had moved there when I was 3 or 4. And so I went to Harrisburg had 2 main grade schools, East Side and West Side.
Okay.
And that was what side of town they were on. When I started kindergarten, we lived on the east side of town, so I went to East Side School. These schools were identical, East Side and West Side. They were both built in either the very late 70s or the early 80s, and they were modern. So I had air conditioning, I had great heat, I had all of the classrooms were like triangle shaped, kind of.
Oh, interesting.
At like a wedge, and it had awesome playground equipment. When I think back on that, I think, oh my gosh, like it would so be outlawed today. Like the playground equipment we had was so dangerous.
I think back of Lincoln schools, and it's like, how did we survive?
Again, our kids today are soft. It's like
they
had a wall actually that you could climb on the playground. It was a wall that you could climb, and then once you got to the top of the wall, it was like built out of logs, and you could straddle it and sit there. But it was like probably an 8-foot drop to the ground. No, kids were falling off of that all the time. 8-foot drop, 8-foot drop, all the time.
Oh, it's crazy.
And it's like, you fell off the wall, shake it off.
Shake it off, get up.
Get up, keep going. I mean, everybody did it at one time or another. And I don't know. So then when I was in 5th grade, though, we had moved to the other side of town, so then I went to West Side School. But basically, it was the same exact building. I mean, they were completely identical.
How fun is
and
that?
It had top-notch everything. So even though on Apple Macintosh computers that were floppy disk, so even from when I was in kindergarten, I was using computers. I mean,
really,
and like my friends that went to school in Clay County, same exact age, like they didn't have computers. So fast forward to 8th grade, I moved to North Clay School District because we lived in Ward, and even like, so when I was signed up for classes at Harrisburg 8th grade, I had signed up for advanced computers that year, and I was so excited because they had a new computer coming out and new software, and I was going to learn it all. But then my mom and dad were like, surprise, we're moving, and I didn't get to take that class. We went to Louisville, so when I went there to sign up, I asked them, what are your advanced computer classes like?
Of course.
I had no idea.
I'm like, hey, what time's PE? Where's my music class? You're like,
well, we have one computer and it's in the library, and if you have time during your library time, you can maybe, log on or whatever, but no computers. And then when I did get to high school, they did have a computer lab there, but like 8th grade was not going to happen.
Gosh.
I went to high school at Louisville at North Clay.
North Clay? Yeah, I'm trying to think. I think maybe my freshman year, like computers were, what would that have been, 81? 82, 83, 84. Yeah, so 81. And I think they were just coming out, and I'm like, yeah, not into it. I never did liked the, oh gosh, what was the game with like the Pong, where I go, boop, the game that kids would play, and it just had the bars would go up, and that little ball would bounce up here, and you'd hit it, and it would bounce back, and you'd try to.
That one.
That's because it's ancient. And, and I remember having that, and I just never did understand the video games. I don't get it. I remember.
You never played Oregon Trail or nothing like that?
Never heard of it. I what was that called? I think it was Atari.
Oh, yeah, we had an Atari.
But wasn't it just like, like I say, it's just a black screen and a little white ball, and so you'd have your levers that would go up and down, so the ball would come, you're like, beep, and it go, beep.
Yeah, I know. I have seen that game, but that was not one I played because it wasn't as much fun as
But then it got faster.
Yes.
Bing, 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 bing. Yeah, I hated that thing. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But no, I still to this day, anything that happens that happens over the internet. Here I am with my phone with Beth here. Hey, fix.
Yeah. I'm a tech support.
Beth, I don't know what's happening, but this isn't working, so can you fix that?
I sure can.
Oh, I'm terrible. Literally, I have a feeling that my grandson, Jack, who's going to be 5 in May, he can... Well, actually, he's quite genius anyway. I think he is.
He's perfect.
He's perfect.
Right in every way.
Yeah, him and JoJo both are absolutely spectacularly perfect. But, I don't know how he even... But the next thing you know, he's got my phone. He's in it, and he's taking 500 pictures. Like, what'd you do? And he's just like, deet, deet, deet.
I mean, it's amazing what they can do.
Oh, my gosh.
And even though I'm your tech support, my oldest and my middle, Carissa, both of them are really good. So there's some things I can't do, and I hand it off to my girls.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, we can do that. And they fix it.
Oh, funny. Well, let's do our rules to live by.
Rules to live by.
This one's pretty short. Be passionate about something. Be passionate about something. I'm passionate about a lot of things.
I am too. I have a whole list.
I have a whole list too. I am passionate about my family, my grandchildren. I'm passionate about my work. I'm passionate about my friends. I'm passionate about the theater, the history, homes. I have a feeling you and I are probably passionate about the exact same things.
Yes, except I'm also passionate about sewing and quilting, and you are not.
And I am not. No,
but that's okay.
But that's okay. Well, because here it'd be like, what's happening? I never could. Oh, you would be so disappointed in my sewing abilities. I'll tell you about that skirt I made at the 8th grade in junior high when they bust me out of Lincoln.
Oh my gosh. Well, we're about out of time.
We are out of time.
So, anyway, it was super fun. Thank you so much for joining us on By the Way with Beth and Stacey, and we will see you next time.
God bless you. Have a great day.